You ever find yourself in the situation of a little triangle that won't go away? You're going to want to pull your pick out, smack the ground right below it. Bam, like that. What's up guys, Uno here, and today I'm going to talk about seawalls. I find seawalls extremely useful. I use them in all my builds. They're useful for docks, for bridges, or even building on the coastline. They help you out a lot. It'll prevent water from washing up into your areas, and it will also stop the creatures and monsters from jumping into the water and swimming around on you. It'll even make it a lot more aesthetically pleasing and easier to build with when you're doing bridges and stuff, so it's very nice. After a few comments on some of my other videos, I figured I'd create an instructional on how I do my seawalls, and then I have somewhere to point to for anyone else in the future who might want to do one. So the first two things I'm going to tell you about seawalls involve placement. You want to avoid huge rocks like that one. That would take forever to farm out. I don't want to do that. I don't want to farm out that whole huge boulder and have it still have remnants of the bottom part left in the dirt. So instead, I'm going to go for a spot that's nice and clear like this. And secondly, that has a drop off. The sooner the drop off like this into deep water, the closer you can get your big boats, like your longboat, in. And it also, if you want to build like non-functional aesthetic boats, then that gives you the option to do that. Secondly, you're going to want to clear out the area. So let's go ahead and get some of these trees out of the way. Okay, now that we have everything cleared out, we're going to want to carve out where our seawall is going to line up. And that's going to be right here on the sand. As you can see, I'm almost at sea level. That's why there's water on the ground. We're just going to continue forward, pushing this down to sea level, trying to make a straight line. Sometimes you might find yourself having to walk back a little bit. That's when you swing the pick forward, it will raise the ground that you're on by half a square, so. And you'll notice that you're able to shape the wall by hitting the ground on the bottom. The shape of the ground and the way it curves up to the wall, that's what defines the shape. Like so. You really want to try and take all this out so you can get your boats up. You ever find yourself in the situation of a little triangle that won't go away? You're going to want to pull your pick out, smack the ground right below it. Bam, like that. Once we get our first form going, like this, now we can come up here to a nice spot, 5 to 10 feet up, and we'll just flatten this here. Make sure not to move while you're flattening. If you ever need help flattening, I have a pretty extensive video on it, maybe too extensive. Beautiful. So over the course of having farmed this out, you should have accumulated yourself at least a couple hundred stone. So you can always, if you need to, do something like this. Form an established square, and then flatten. That will make everything a lot easier to flatten. Anyone who's using cheats, like you can probably see my SK toolbox on the side there, that I strongly advise anyone to use that if you're into building. I use it all the time to make sure my builds are as nice as they can be. Everything I've done so far has been possible without cheats, but if you're using cheats, this would be the point where if you were building something extensive, you would want to run this out, you know, a good ways. You'd want to go as far as you can on this. As far as the water will let you anyway. And then just flatten it out as you continue on. And always make sure that your seawall is all the way around. If you have a part where creatures could potentially just walk right up, they will. Creatures will swim out into the ocean and just walk up. Like the Night of the Living Dead style. Alright, this is looking really good. Now we just flatten this all out. Give ourselves some room to live. Maybe raise once or twice on the sides where it had a natural decline. And voila. Now if we hypothetically wanted to build some kind of bridging situation, this is why I leave the triangles here. Check this out. Okay. Wonderful. Now you should be protected from any monsters trying to climb up on you or any storms bringing in the tide, while also having the perfect opportunity to build a nice dock out into super deep water where you can bring in your longboats and things. Yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. There's been some really wonderful feedback on a lot of the other stuff lately, and I appreciate all you guys for that. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.